My name is Michele Jutrisa, and I'm an independent demonstrator here with Stampin' Up here in New South Wales, Australia. Thank you very much for joining me today. And hi, Leslie. Thanks for jumping on. Please jump on like Leslie has done and say hello. Let us know where you're from. It's always great chatting to everybody as they come onto my live. Excuse me. Today we're going to play with a product that I haven't played with as yet as far as the designer series paper is concerned. And I'm going to show it to you out of the catalogue because I think it's going to be a lot easier to see. Let me just turn this down so you can see actually what is on my desk and what I'm looking at. And what I am looking at is the Bloom Boutique. Now, I have played with some of these products, but I haven't played with the designer series paper. And also, too, what I want to introduce today is a new product that's coming out in July. And this is a sneak peek for one of the online exclusives, and that is this beautiful plaid paper. Now let me just pull that out so you can see both sides. So one side is a large buffalo type check, and the other one is same sort of size but a different style of check. So, and this is all in the new in colours. So I'm going to play with this today. Also, I'm using this colour. This is the, excuse me, the Golden Glow. And it's not probably a colour I would normally pick to make a card out of today, but I am going to make my card base and a few other elements from this particular paper, and I'm going to be teaming it up with some of the designer series paper. Now, as I said, this is the first time I've actually used the designer series paper, which is this beautiful florals here. It's called the Bloom Boutique DSP. And, of course, you can find that on my online store. So some beautiful, beautiful papers. You've also got a scrapbooking workshop that you can purchase as well. When you purchase the designer series paper, you've got the choice of purchasing it with the sticker sheet or without the sticker sheet. I have actually purchased it with the sticker sheet. So I haven't used it as yet, as you can see, but I've got lots of ideas of what I can use that for. It's just that I love their workshops, but this particular one probably doesn't really work with my family too well, being all boys. So hello, Joan. How are you? Thank you very much for jumping on. So let's get started. So I'm trying to play with as much of this as I can. I'm using both the Scalloped Blooms bundle, and I am using also the Boutique Blooms bundle as well, and some of the two-tone cardstock in the plain colours that go with this, which is your Barely Blush, your Crisp Cantaloupe, your Golden Glow, and your Peaceful Pine. So let me just pop this to one side and let's get started. So what I decided to create today was an easel card using these papers, and I've already pre-cut a lot of this for us already. Now what I do want to go through with you is how to cut out the main base. So what I've got here, I'm just going to pop all this to one side. I've got some solid cardstock, so I'm not using the two-tone here. I am using the solid cardstock for my base because it is a lot heavier and will take the weight of this card. And I have got the largest scallop circle that comes in the bundles. Excuse me. It's part of the Scalloped Blooms dies. So what I want to do is I've cut this at 26 centimetres by 13 centimetres, and I've scored it at half at 13. I want to have at least 3 of these scallops along, because that's my folded edge there, along that folded edge, because I want to form like a card. So I'm going to, let me just move this up, and I'm going to position this, and let me just grab my tape here, and I'll tape all this in place, and then I'll show you on the other side where I'm planning to cut this. So I hope you're all having a good day. It was so windy and cold here last night. So I'm just going to adhere those two down there and flip that over. And as you can see, I'll bring that up to the camera so you can see I'm sort of losing the top of that top scallop, but I'm just catching on the inside of those second scallops. Okay, now this will all get hidden. I just need to have a hinge point. I probably even could take that up just that little bit more. So let me just reposition this, flip it over again. So I've got a little bit more of that, whoops, there we go, a little bit more of that scallop actually caught in there. And actually I'm going to move it. I'm going to move it down a bit more. As much as I can have there, the better, because otherwise that just becomes very flimsy and can break quite easily. But as you'll see when we start constructing this card, a lot of that will get covered up. So once we've done that, I'm going to bring in my large cut and emboss and all the platforms that we need. So I've got platform 1, 2 and my 2 3s. And we're going to pop that in there like that. And I've got my folded edge going through first, just because that's habit, but also to, if the die is going to move, hopefully it won't move too much down on that. But anyway, let's run this through. It's going to be a little bit tighter because we do have 2 layers of cardstock in there. And that's gone through beautifully. Okay. So let's pop that aside. And pop these away. If we peel all of this off, we then should be left with a card base with that hinge up the top. And we can just take all of that away. We don't need any of that. Flip that open, and there's our hinge there, and that's quite a substantial amount. So now what we're going to do is we want to fold this up, but we're going to match these scallops. We're only going to fold up one side of it, but what I want to do is, that's those 3, so they're going to go I want to match. I've got my, there's my top 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Those are those 2 that go together. So what I want to do is match these ones at the end, either side of those 3, with that with the ones either side there. And I'm just going to open that up. And I'm just folding this back on itself, and we're just going to match that as best as we can. Of course, we could have scored that, put that through our trimmer and scored it, but this will work just as well and give that a really good burnish. Okay, so now we've got a piece that's going to look like that. Now I'm going to turn that back on the opposite side onto itself and give that another burnish. Now with easel cards, you could turn that up and then put your next piece on top there, or you could turn that down and have your piece going there. I'm turning it down for this particular card. I just wanted to make sure that that has really nice sharp burnish. Okay, so that's going to create the base of our easel card. So we're going to put something on here which is going to allow that bottom scallop there to catch, and then our easel base is going to go on to there like that. So what I've done is I've cut another one of these scallops also out of that card base. As you can see, I've cut quite a few here. So I've used this die, this largest die again. This is the largest one it comes in. And this, just so you have an idea, it's around about 12.5 centimetres in diameter. So it's quite a big size. And there's our scallop, and we're going to adhere these two pieces together. So I'm just going to pop glue onto this bottom half. So there's my score line there onto this bottom half here. And normally I would put glue on this top section and glue it to this one, but because I don't want to have any glue going where it shouldn't be going, I'm going to glue it, put my glue on there. Now, I've left a bit of edge there, but there's quite a bit of glue on there. And what I'm going to do is match up all of these. And hopefully that glue will spread. And I'm just going to fold that back on itself so I can make sure that that's all going to not ooze out along that back line. It is oozing out just a little bit, but that's okay. I can catch that with my fingernails. Just making sure all of that is nice and lined up. Just need to move that one just that little bit more there. Just give that a bit of a light rub just to make sure that glue is spread nicely inside there. And just double checking all my matching. And that's going to be fine. So there we go. So there's our base of our card. So if I turn that on its side, that's my bottom, and that's going to be my base like that. Okay. So that's going to give us our foundation. So that's our card foundation there. Now, I've die cut quite a few of these scallops here. So what I have done is I've cut 2 in basic white, and that is the next size down. Now you'll notice with all of these, so there's the large one that we've used, and it's just cut a perfectly plain edge, but our next die down, and I've cut a few things out of this one, has got a stitching line just on the inside all the way around, so you get this really nice look. I don't know whether you can see that little bit of a stitching line there on the inside of that circle. So every second one is going to be like this. So you'll have, this is our largest one. The next size down has got the stitching line. Then the next size down from that, which is this one here, which I'm also using today, is plain. Okay. Then the next size down would have the stitching line. There is 3, 6, work out how many there are. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of these scallops. So you can see there's another one with the stitching, and then I have got the other ones put aside because I've also used those. So really great little set there. Now I am going to pop one of these on the inside, but I'm not going to glue it down just as yet because I don't know exactly how I'm going to be using it, and I've got a spare just for the fact that I'm not 100% certain whether I need that or not. But I've also cut in the same size as this white one in that lovely buffalo type check, and I've cut the next size down in the floral out of that DSP. So this is where I'm bringing in my designer series paper. So what I am thinking is I've cut that size down, and I've got the smaller check on that I'm using. And then I've got this one here. Now, I'm not quite sure whether I want to have, you can have all that all sort of layered on top of each other so then they're even, or we could take it out and make it a little bit uneven to create a little bit more of an interest. And actually, they've done that in a card in the catalogue, and I actually quite like it, which is this one here. So if you can see there, let me bring that up. It's closer at the top than at the side down the bottom here, which is the opposite side. So they've just really moved that designer series paper towards one side, which is what I'm thinking of doing for this card here, because I think it just creates that little bit of added interest. But what I want to do, let's take that piece out for the moment. That's my bottom of my card. So what I want to do is I'm thinking of taking this, maybe keeping within the scallops, but bring it out. So I've got this side here is going to be getting closer, and then that's going to go closer again, but keeping those scallops in line as much as you can. And then up here, I'm building a bit of an open area. So that's what I'm thinking of doing. So let's just glue all that down. So we're not thinking about it anymore. We're actually doing that. But I just want to make sure that I keep my card sort of, this is my bottom, so I want to keep that going across there. So what I might do, I don't know whether that's going to work. I have to lie that flat, but I'm just going to try to remember that. Just wondering if I've got a pencil or something here, just something very, very light, because it's going to get covered up. Here we go. That's my middle one, that one there. So that's going to be my middle, just so that I can remember what's going to be square onto me. And then this one here, we're going to glue over the top. So I just want to keep those scallops as lined up as much as possible. Don't want to go all the way down, and they're not going to line up perfectly because we are offsetting all of this. And we're just going to adhere that down there like that. Now, there are areas there that I've got sticking up, so let's see if I can make myself a little brush type piece with my scraps here, and I'm just going to pop a bit of glue on there and just add some extra glue in some of these places here because I want that to be stuck down. I might just go around here and just do a bit more up here. And that side looks like it's okay. Now I'm going to do the same thing again. But again, I've lost my little arrow now, so there's my middle one there. So again, I'm going to just draw myself a little, just making sure. Pop that one onto there. Just using the grid lines on my piece here is my, just don't think I've got quite, there we go. I think that's it there. So there's my center one, just about there. Again, I just want to keep that in center. Won't matter after I've put this piece on, I don't think. Again, I'm going to bring that just into that. So we've got that close on this side and then fanning out to there. So when that sits up, that's going to sit up like that. So I want to create this side with my weight, okay? So any embellishments I'm going to do are going to go onto this side, and then it's going to fan out to be lighter towards that end up there. Now let me show you what I've decided to do with my embellishments for this. And actually, while we're gluing everything in, we might as well, no, I'm going to leave that. Let's just get rid of all of that for the moment. So we've got some other pieces that come in this set of dies here. So what I've pulled out here, I've left one size still in there, but I've got the next three. So they're the largest three, and these are the smallest three. And so out of this, I've die cut some pieces of the white core or the two-toned cardstock. I've also got this little piece here, which is these two little circle pieces here, and I've pulled out a tag piece, which I'm thinking of using as my stopper for the front of my card, and also pop a bit of a sentiment on there. But that's still only just a possibility. So what I've done here is I have die cut a whole stack of bits and pieces, and as you can see there, I've also pulled out the leaves. I've pulled out this branch piece just there and this 3-leaf branch here, and this is from the other the bundle, which is these beautiful flowers and the dies to coordinate with them, but that's also still part of this particular suite. So I've done some die cutting. So I've die cut these, and I'm using pretty much all the in colours because the flowers and everything in this particular designer series paper is with all the in colours. So I have die cut, and excuse me, sorry. I really love these in colours that we've got this year. I just think they all just work so beautifully together. So what I've done here is I've cut some of these leaves, and I've cut them using both sides of the designs of the two-tone cardstock, sorry. So I've got, let me just grab another one the same size. So I've die cut it in the darker shade, and I've die cut it in the lighter shade of the Peaceful Pine. So I've done that, and as you can see, I've already started playing with just roughing some of this up a little bit, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to do that in a moment. But what I've also done here is I have die cut in, and I'm using this one, which is the crisp cantaloupe. I've die cut the larger scallop in the dark side of the crisp cantaloupe. I've cut the next size down in the lighter size of the crisp cantaloupe, and then I have gone the next size down in the dark side again. And then I have cut out those circles in that plaid paper again there. So let me show you what we're going to do here with this. And this is not very technical. Scrunch it up. We're just going to scrunch this up into a tight little ball. So just really sort of give that a really good scrunch up. Just getting all those little ends. You don't want to rip it. You don't want to scrunch it up so much that we're causing too much damage to our scallop. And then we're going to open that up. Just gently give that a bit of an open up on to that. If you wanted to, just give it a scrunch going in the opposite direction a little bit, just to cause a little bit more. And this is what's going to give our dimension for the flowers we're going to create. Once I've done that, I'm going to grab a filing nail file. This is a, it's not actually a nail file, but this is sandpaper file that I purchased many, many years back. I don't think I've ever really used them. And we're just going to give our paper a little bit of a light sand, and that's just going to make some of those folded areas that we've just created by scrunching our flower up some texture. So just giving that a little bit more of a scrunch. I'm just going to open that up again. I don't want to bring it out flatten it too much, because I want some of that dimension in there. And we're going to do that with each of these pieces. So this, I've decided this is going to be my main flower on. So this is going to be my large one. So again, I'm scrunching that up. So this one here, I've got my dark side of my crisp cantaloupe showing, and when I open this one up, I want my lighter side to be showing. Add a bit more scrunch to there. Again, just go over it with a bit of sandpaper, just to give that a little bit of texture. Give that a little bit more of a scrunch. Just want those petals. We're creating some petals with some lovely dimension, and that's going to go in there. So I'm going to actually pop a little bit of glue just in the center here. It's probably a bit too much, but anyway, that'll do. And we're going to adhere that into the middle there. You can use your lid just to push that down, and you can even scrunch that up and around it a little bit. Just remember, if you're putting this in the post, it will flatten out. So if you are going to post this somewhere, you may want to make a little box for it. And then we're going to grab our small one, and we're just going to repeat. So give that a really good scrunch. Oops, almost lost it. Because this one is so small, you might want to even just bend some of those scalloped edges in. Again, just repeat the process. Just give that a bit of a light sand, so we've got a bit of detail on there. And then with our piece here, and I'm using it with the larger check as my right side, and I'm going to just scrunch that one up as well again. Hello Sharon, how are you? Now I'm not going to worry about sanding this one, because I'll probably end up sanding my fingers if I did. But I do want to just give that a really good scrunch, because I want it to fit in the middle there. So now I'm going to pop a little bit of glue into that one. Pop that down into there, give that a little bit of a press. Whoops, just hold it there for a couple of seconds just to let that dry a little bit. And then I'm going to pop a little bit in there. And this one is going to go right down in there on top. And I'm just going to use my bone folder here just to push that one in, because I don't want to keep some of those folds I've got in there. So there's our flower that we're creating to go on our card. So I'll just lift that up for you. Got some really lovely texture happening on those. So I've already done a couple. I'm only going to probably be using one of these, but as you can see, they're all going to be a little bit different. And I've already done a blue one as well, but this with the blue one, I haven't used the larger, so I've only used the two smaller scallops, and I'm going to do the same with this one here. So I've got, this is the Barely Blush, so that's my light side, there's my dark side, so we're just going to do exactly the same with that. I just sort of cut lots there, just so then I had enough to choose from. If I decide to do this again, because I mean this is a great little technique to use even on a scrapbook page as well, not just for cards. And you don't need too many when you're putting these onto cards. Again, I like to work with odd numbers, so I'm creating 3, but 1 in each colour. Again, I'm just wanting to put a couple of little extra creases into those scallops, which are going to become my petal edges. And just to give that a little bit of a light sand. It's not going to show up too much on this one because it is such a light colour. Then we're going to do the same with this one. Give that a good scrunch up. Create a few more creases in there. And again, give that a little bit of a sand. A little bit of glue in there. Pop that down into that. Just use that to hold it down a little bit. As I said before, it doesn't, I mean, the Barely Blush, it's barely blush. It's barely pink. But it is all going to look lovely once it's all there. So now we just need to do our centre. I was looking at putting a some sort of embellishment gem in the centres, but then I thought I want to bring back in that beautiful buffalo check type pattern and bring this golden glow into the centre of the flowers, just to bring that colour back through again. So again, I'm just going to give that a really good squish up in the middle because I like those centres to look a bit more texture in them. A bit of glue in there. We're going to pop that right into there and just hold that down for a second until that starts to bond. Just use that bone folder just to give that a little bit more of a fold in there as well. So there's our flowers. We're only going to need those 3 for today for this card. Okay, so let me just pop those to one side while they're drying, and I'll show you what I'm doing with the leaves. So let me move all of these out of the road. So with my leaves, what I ended up doing is I've grabbed my piercing mat, and I'm going to use my darker one here, and I'm just giving this just a light, not too much, because the dye actually cuts through those leaves. So if I use too much weight into this, I'm just going to rip these leaves. So I'm just giving it a little bit of a push with the tip of my bone folder just to create some texture, and I didn't want to scrunch them because I was a bit concerned if I did, I would actually tear them. And then I'm just going to go over them with my sandpaper again, just to take a little bit of that out to give them a little bit of texture. Now I've got here 2 dark ones, and I did some in light as well, but I think for this I'm going to be using the dark ones for these big branches. And we'll see how we go. We might use the lighter side with the littler ones. So again, just give that a little bit of a gentle poke and a bit of a sand. You don't want to sand these too much. You just want to take a little bit of that surface off, because what you're doing is you're basically breaking down those fibres. So if we over sand it or over scrunch it too much, you can start separating. And if you have a look at my blue one here, my blue flower, actually started to separate the pieces there. So just be very careful. I mean, I do like separating my paper, but I usually do that when I'm using the solid cardstock. So now I'm just going to grab some of these ones here I've got in the lighter colour. And I'm not quite sure how many of these we're going to need, but I'm just going to grab 3 out, and I'm going to do a similar sort of thing. I'm just going to give these a little bit of a fold through the centres there. And then we're going to give these a bit of a sand up, and then we can start putting our card together. So what has everybody got planned for this weekend? I will be on live again tomorrow morning working on my album. So if you want to join me at 10 o'clock tomorrow, we'll be doing some more pages. I'm not quite sure yet what photos I'm going to be working on. I've got to pull them out this afternoon. So I hope if you can join me tomorrow, you can. As we're continuing working on my 6x8 album. Trying to use up some of our stash that we've got put away. Okay. So let's bring our card back in and let's have a look. So we've got our card is going to go there. So I'm going to start with my larger one. I'm just going to lay this out a little bit at the moment. We want to pop one there and another one possibly over on this side. I tend to be very symmetrical, so you'll see me do everything like this. It's naturally where I sort of head. Now I'm thinking of popping one of those coming out from underneath there. Now I've just got to remember where this is going to sit, because we don't want to. Okay, I'm going to start gluing these in, I think. So I'm just going to pop a bit of glue on there, and I'm going to pop one just about there. Love hydrangea hue. I'm a blue person and I just really love this colour. One in there. Now this is going to flatten out a little bit. I'm just going to grab this, and actually I might just pop this one on first. May have to cut these down a little bit. Pop that coming out from underneath there as well. So these little ones here, I'm thinking having coming up there. So let's just pop these in. Let's work out our centre of our card again. So it's going to be about there. Pop one of them in there. Lift that up and pop that underneath there. Might just see if I can turn that a little bit going in another direction. So that's going to be looking like that so far. And let's have a look at these. I think I might cut them down. I'll break that off there. I'm not going to pop a sentiment on here because I want the sentiment to be underneath, but I don't want to cover up too much of the paper there. I'm just going to put some glue onto the tips there. Stick that right in underneath. Now, if those are flipping up too much, you could put a little glue dot if you wanted to. Just wrap the glue dot into a dot, into quite small. You don't want to leave it too big. I don't like things plastered down. I like to have a bit of movement there in my flowers. So that one is going to go there, I think. So let me just work out where the center of my card is. And I might just take that one out as well, because this is up quite high. That's the top of my card there, and anything coming down here is coming down to the side of my card, so I didn't really want too much bulk in there, so I'm just going to pop that onto there like that. And let's just pop that underneath there as much as we can. So I'm even thinking I might take a bit more off that. Got glue all over my fingers now. So that's going to be coming down like that, like so. So there's my card front. I hope you can see that. Now, I just feel like I need a little bit more of that green in there, in the darker green. So I'm thinking I might just take that off there. Just want to pop a little bit more. Whoops. It's not much. I just want to put a little bit of dark green in there, I think. So I'm just going to slowly build this up. So I've got that one there. I've got this one here, which I tore off one of the other ones. I'm going to pop a bit of glue in there. A bit too much glue on that one. Again, I'm just going to pop that just in there like that. Now let's just have a look. I haven't planned on, got one more here, but we could very easily just fill that out there. So then we're starting to look a little bit balanced. I might just have to do another quick one of these in this lighter colour. See how we go. I'm going to pop that one just underneath there like that. And let's just very quickly grab one of these and just do another one of these just in case we might use it. Oops. Thank you, Sharon. Now, let's just have a look. We'll just do a little bit of a dry fit and see where this one could go if we use it. Yeah, I think just about there. I think to me there just seems to be a hole right there. We want to fill that up. Now, I won't be here next weekend. So next Friday and next Saturday, I won't be doing any lives. Every year I go to a embroidery retreat. And that's where I'm going to be. So, whoops. I'll pop that right in there as much as I possibly can. So they won't be alive on either Friday or the Saturday morning. Okay, so let's have a bit of a look because I've got no greenery up in this area here. I've got it more all around here. And I'm just wondering whether we just need to put, or whether I'm going to be getting to the point of putting too much. Don't want to go past. No, I think actually I quite like that. I'm going to leave that at that. So, as I said, I wasn't planning to put a sentiment on here, but we'll have a look and see how we go. Because I feel the sentiments that they've done with this suite are a little bit on the larger side. So what I've done is I've had a look through and I've pulled out the phrases and frames. And I was just looking at some of the other sentiments here. And there's "Have a Fabulous Day." So I'm sort of thinking at the moment I might use that one because that will fit in there. And if I decide to pop that onto there, I still can. But we still need to put something underneath as yet. So maybe I've got to make another set of flowers. So let's grab a scrap of white cardstock. And I've pulled out the crisp cantaloupe because I don't really want to bring in any more the golden glow. Still trying to get used to these stamp pads and the way they open. And I'm just going to give this a good ink up. Hold this down for a couple of seconds and just let that ink settle into the cardstock. And that's not looking too bad, but I might just try it one more time and see whether, without getting ink on my fingernails. Let's just give it another. So what I might do is grab this, because it is a photopolymer stamp, and really we should have something like a piercing mat underneath. And is there one better than the other? Just feeling like it's just not stamping as nicely as what I would like. So I'm just going to have a quick look here and grab my stamp positioner, and I might just give it a go and see if I can get a nicer, sort of a little bit mottled, and I really would like a nice crisp image on this. So let's just pop all of this into here. Let's just clean our stamp off there for a second. Going to turn this over. That's the beauty of having this white cardstock. If you're not happy with it, you can just flip it over, and we'll pop down our magnets to hold that in place. Let's see if we can get a nice image this time. It's been a while since I've used this, so it's sort of, and you want to keep your ink pad away from your dies because they're all magnetic. And by doing with this, I can re-ink and ink again if I need to. So let's just have a look and see how we go. You know what? That's looking really good. So I'm going to just ink that up one more time. And you know what? I think I had it better before the first time. Let's just try that, flip that around, and we're going to just do it one more time on there. I think when I pushed down a little bit, it made the font spread a little bit, flatten out. So because you really don't need to put too much on it. Whoops, I need to bring that down a bit. I'll grab another piece of cardstock, one of the two. Let's just see where we're going to be. That'll be fine. Let's ink that up. And I'm just going to do that one more time. This time I'm not going to press down as firmly. Just line it up and press. Beautiful. This one here just sort of spread it out a little bit too far. So we'll pop our lid onto that so we can put that to one side. And we want to cut that one out there. So what I'm going to do, this is not going to fit through my trimmer too well. I'm going to cut right through that. That's okay. Pop that onto there. Just going to use these just to hold that into place. So there's our tag, and I'm going to grab a little bit of baker's twine here, and I'm going to use the white, of course. I'm just trying to work out how much of this I'm going to need. Am I going to do let's just have a look. Thinking of putting it through twice thickness. And I don't have a crochet hook here. I keep thinking I've got to bring one out here. Don't think I've got one there. No. Let's see if I can get this through. It's a really good tip that I've seen with using a crochet hook to pull this through. And for all the crochet hooks I've got in my house, you would think I'd have one in here. But anyway, got it. So I'm just going to cut the ends off on that. Don't want them too short, but I don't want them too long either. But let's just start with that. And we'll grab a couple of dimensionals. Now again, we're just got to take, just going to pop that there upside down. We're just got to be aware of where our middle of our card is going to be. So we want that I want that to be my centre. So I don't want those sitting right up in there in the middle of that. That can stay at that sort of length. That's looking good. Okay, then. Now, let's see what we're going to do with this. Now, initially, I was thinking that's going to go there. That's going to sit up on there. That section at the top there is where I'm going to write on this. But it's what I think I might do is just let's just have a look with this big flower here. Might be too big. We might have to make a little one. And I think we will. Okay then, let's have a look. And I'm going to, I've got a small one there, and let's just see, hopefully I've got another. One of those, but it looks like I don't have another small centre, which is unusual. I thought I cut everything out in threes here. There it is. I did. And I think what I'm going to have is I'm going to grab that one there as well. So let's just quickly make ourselves up one of these. Yeah, you too, Leslie. You have a lovely day and have a lovely weekend. Stay warm. Very windy and cold here yesterday. I've got my heater on in here, so it's keeping me nice and warm today. Let's just grab our file and get this a little bit of a file down. I just want to squish that up a little bit more because I do want this to be a little bit smaller. Let's do the same again with this one. Let's pop a bit of glue in there. Give that a really good roll in my fingers. Just want to really squish this up just to make that center. That into there, give that a good push down. And then we're just going to do the same with this leaf here. I'm only going to do the one leaf on this, I think. Okay, so let's open this up. I want that one to be fairly centered this time round. And then this can go to there like that. And we're just going to pop this one here underneath. Coming out the side like that. So that is our finished card. Now, I'm not going to add any more bling or anything to that because I really feel that that's the look I wanted. I wanted a bit of more of a cottage feel to it. I mean, I could have scrunched up some of these other papers that I've used, but I really wanted our flowers to have that lovely cottage feel to them. So I hope you like that. I'm just going to give that a bit more of a push down there. Can always come back in and give it a bit of a scrunch. But as I said, if this does go in the post, then it is something that you probably do need to make a box for. I'm just being very, very there. It's still very wet. So I hope you've enjoyed that. There's my original flower I started with. It's not going to sit perfectly flat because we do have some of that bulk there, but that just makes a really nice, fun card that you could possibly hand deliver to somebody. So I'm going to now go and write up my tutorial for this. So hopefully get that up on my tutorial either today or tomorrow. I know I'm behind in getting up last Saturday's tutorial up, but I'll hopefully get that finished as well. And I hope you can join me 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. Thank you, Kay. Thanks very much for jumping on and saying hello and watching. And as I said before, I won't be live next Friday nor next Saturday. So jump on tomorrow morning if you want to watch me continually working on my 6x8 album, which is all about me. And you may be sick of learning all about me by now. But anyway, I'm hoping that you'll learn some techniques as well with a little bit of scrapbooking there as well. If you're a bit worried about these popping up, as I said before, just get a little bit of a glue dot and really roll it up into a ball to put it in there so it's not sort of plastered down. But I actually quite like that. So happy with the way that's turned out. Very pleased. So take care. Have a lovely day. Stay safe over the weekend and stay warm. Bye for now.